Hello, hope you're well. Come and join me in the summer house. I'm going to talk about all the bulbs that I'm growing this year. And sorry about, I hope you can see me okay, the sun's going in and out. Also the buzzy plane is back again, so apologies for that in advance. I'm going to talk about, I've got a lot that I bought from a nursery the other day, and I've got a few that are on order from Sarah Raven. I can't say this will be everything because I might get tempted by some of the sales. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I had a bit of a disaster with my tulips this year because I put a lot into this big flower bed over here and an awful lot into my cutting area, which the previous year had been fine. But last winter the rats got almost every single one. I think I had about 2 or 3. So I had some tulips in the rest of the garden, but I didn't have any cutting ones, so that was pretty sad. So this year I'm going to do things a bit differently. I'm going to do my tulips in crates, which I have done before, and hope that means I can keep a better eye out on them, and I can put them, I don't know if there's anywhere that's kind of rat proof, but I could be able to keep a better eye out for them anyway, for the rats. Ellie is eating grass in the background, so you might hear her retching it up, which is always attractive, isn't it? And I've also got some bulbs that, if you saw my video, I'll link it, where I was doing a mini sort of makeover around my front door area. I've taken some shrubs out and put some hydrangeas back in, but there's quite a lot of space around them and I want to put a lot of bulbs in there, so I've got lots to go in there. And I've also, so let me start. Despite this being an Amazon box, they did not come from Amazon. All these ones came from a lovely local nursery called Bunkers Hill, and it's really nice because it's a family owned one. They live on site, sort of a house and then the nursery behind, and they have a lovely selection of things, and they're really good value as well. And probably the best thing they do is that they don't sell any peat. So all their compost is peat free, and I just think that's so fantastic. And you can go along, you can buy it in bags, but you can go along and shovel it. They have a big pile of the silver grow, and you can help yourself, you know, whatever container you've got. So they're really working hard to be as sustainable as possible. So I'll link them below. If anybody's local to me and doesn't know about it, please support them. And yes, I've managed to get a lot at some good prices, so I did go a bit bonkers. I've also got a few indoor ones. I always like to have some hyacinths because I just find it a really nostalgic smell, and my mum always used to do them when we were growing up, so I love to have a few. But I only really like the blue ones. I don't think they have a stronger smell, or it's just kind of a thought process that they seem stronger. Oh, just the Red Admiral flying amongst the ivy. So I've just got 2 lots of 3 of Delft Blue Hyacinth, and oh, hello Ellie. Hello Ellie, you always know when the camera's on, don't you? And I've also got some, somewhere in here, I've got some grandiflora daffodils. So they're again the ones that you force inside. And if you don't know, you tend to do, if you want to put them in a bowl rather than a regular pot with holes in it, you have to use special compost. It comes with charcoal in it, and it doesn't get too boggy if it doesn't have drainage. But you don't have to do it like that. You can use regular compost and just make sure it's a pot with holes in. But they always do look nice in those sort of shallow bowl shaped ones. And then I've got everything on the receipt as well. So before I get on to the tulips, I also bought just said grandiflora, I think, Narcissi paper white. Maybe they're grandiflora paper white. I'll have to look that up. So I've got 2 of those, and then I've also got some Mascari grape hyacinths. Let me just sort this out a bit. Okay, I've had a little bit of a sort out. So yeah, my hyacinths and paper white narcissi there, and here I have got so most of these are going to go in the area by the front door, as I said. I've got some crocus, one called Blue Pearl, Do lots of those. How many are in each? I think about 10 or 12, oh, 14 to get those. And I've got some Mascari, the grape hyacinth, and this is a variety called Valerie Finis. I think that's how you say it, and they're a really pretty light blue. I quite like them for cutting actually, in for jam jar posies. They're really pretty. I've got 2 lots of those, and then I've got some dwarf narcissi. I've already got quite a lot of daffodils, and obviously they're perennial, so you don't have to keep topping them up. But the ones I really liked last year, Rip Van Winkle, which is kind of mad double one, and I think that might have been the first one to bloom. I'll probably use those in a pot. And I got a couple of the Talia, which is a beautiful little white one. And I might put those by the door, I might put them in the pot, haven't quite decided. So those are all the non-tulips. And I think tulips are kind of the most glamorous of the bulbs, aren't they? I just absolutely love them, and I'm doing some artwork that involves tulips at the moment as well. So my head is full of tulips. They just come in such a range of colours and forms. So some of these will be cutting ones and some for in the garden. I've got 2 lots of black parrot. That's a very beautiful dark sort of blackcurranty colour. So those are for cutting. I have got brownie, which is a slightly shorter one, really double, sort of caramelly orangey colour. I'm not sure I've grown that one before, so I'm excited about that. Although I think some of the ones that I had last year, maybe they were, no, I had those copper image ones that the rats took away. And then these are all to go in the front door, because I think both of these are, it's not shady as such, but it's east facing, so it gets morning sun, but that's all. And I love this one called Gavotta, and I know I've got some somewhere else, and they came in a Sarah Raven collection of shade tolerant ones, so I know they'll be fine there, called Gavotta, which is this very striking sort of browny red with a pale creamy edge. And to go with them, I've got these ones Très Chic, which are a white lily flowered ones, which if I had to choose only one, I think it would be lily flowered. One of my all-time favourites is Ballerina, which I've actually got outside the summer house. I'll put a picture in and you can see what they look like against the blue paint. They're fantastic, and they're scented, and they come back every year. What more could you want? So I think those are all. Oh no, there's another one in there. Oh, and this one is apricot parrot. The double ones don't tend to flower very well after their first year. They'll flower, but they won't look the same. That you'll often find that they have reverted back to a single form. So I like to get them for cutting, because I don't feel bad about just getting rid of their bulbs. Because if you're growing them for cutting, what you tend to do is you pull up the whole bulb, you pull up the whole tulip bulb and all, and then you get a really good length on your stem, but you can't reuse the bulb. So if I know they're not going to come the next year, I don't feel so bad about it. So those are all the ones I actually physically have in my possession. And as I say, I also did an order from Sarah Raven. Let me see if I can find it and just talk you through those. She was having one of her special offers, 20% off or something, so I got quite a few. I got the one that everybody loves, La Belle Epoque. Although I feel that I spotted it. I'm sure I started having it before everybody else did. I think everyone's copying me. But it's so beautiful with those creams and caramels. Again, it's one that doesn't always come true the next year. Also, I think they tend to be more expensive. I think they must be harder to propagate. And I think sometimes they are sold under that name and they're not true La Belle Epoque. But I trust Sarah Raven. I think she will have got proper ones in. And I've also got apricona, which is a tall single one, absolutely beautiful. A new one to me, orange marmalade, which is a ruffled, really vivid orangey one. These are all for cutting. Dreamer, which I think somebody recommended. Was it Sarah Raven? It might have been Nicole at Cherry Tree Garden. And it's so sort of double, it almost looks like a peony. Really beautiful in pale pink. Slawa, which is one I've grown before, a little bit like gavotta actually, but my gavotta are not for cutting, so it doesn't matter that I'm reproducing that. And then one called Princess Irene, or Princess Irene, which is orange but has streaks of green and sort of crimson through it. I love that. It looked really good in bouquets. And then possibly my favourite, other than Ballerina, all-time favourite, is Wyndham. And although it's quite a modern variety, apparently, it looks like it just there's something really vintagey about it. And it has another one that has a scent, and it just looks absolutely fabulous, just on its own or with some greenery. Again, it's so sort of full, it almost doesn't look like a tulip, and I love that one. I've also ordered some anemones, the wood anemones, again to go, because I thought the shade, they'll cope with that, and some camasias, which is similar, so they're a sort of blue spiral, and a couple of alliums. Atripurpureum, which is a beautiful dark purple one, and that cuts really well and dries really beautifully. And Siculum, which is also called Nectarscordum. I don't know why it's got two names, and it's the one that has the bells. And I'm not quite sure where I sort of know where I'm going to put everything else. I haven't quite decided where I'm going to put the alliums, but I will find room. And I was talking about it on Instagram with some people about how we all tend to overbuy bulbs because it's like being in a sweet shop for flower growers. We just can't resist them. But we always forget how much work it is actually to plant them. Although planting them in crates is actually a lot easier than in a trench. And I won't be doing that till about November because you do them quite late. Although maybe in crates it doesn't matter so much. The reason that you wait to plant your tulip bulbs, there can be I think it's called tulip fur, a disease that can be in the ground. But if you wait till there's been a frost or two, you're much less likely to get that. I've never had a problem with that. So I don't know whether it's one of those. There are a lot of those sort of gardening traditions, aren't there, where you do things because they've always been done a certain way. And I guess because of changing climate and maybe disease resistance, we don't really need to do it. But it's kind of imprinted on our brains now. So because I am going to put quite a lot in crates, I might do them a bit earlier. But I'll get on with the other ones quite soon. So I hope you enjoyed my run through. Let me know if you have grown any of these or are planning to. I'd love to know what you think, and join me again soon. And I just wanted to say that this is one of my backdrops that I do with a hand dyeing process, and I use them for photographing flowers against as well as in my art. And it should be my next video. I'm actually going to explain how I make these, and it's actually a lot easier than you might think. So if you're interested in that, do have a look.